I am sitting here bawling my eyes out. I've been crying for consecutive days now because it is hitting me in waves that my family actually hates me and they've actually never liked me. They've actually never liked me. There are families who have tangible things that are the cause of hatred between them or any animosity between them. But for me, it's not things like somebody stole what, somebody said this and that about somebody, and that caused the family to be disrupted or whatnot. That's not what it is for me. It's something I couldn't spot for the longest time, which was emotional abuse. And in my case, more specifically, narcissistic abuse. Being abused by people who are entitled, who think they are the only ones that matter, people who lack empathy, people who could never empathize with me, basically, who could never think about me, who could never think, what about her? And those people are my sister and my mother. They could never. I tried my absolute best to always be there for my mother and my sister, to love them, to care, I admired them, I adored them. I lived in this illusion that maybe one day they would love me the same way, never seeing how much they actually hated me. And now I see the hate and it is coming in waves. The fact that they've always been jealous of me, the fact that they've always belittled me, the fact that they've always been mean to me, bullied me, try to put me down with their words that either came as a joke or something that I shouldn't take as seriously, or something that they didn't mean the way that I took it. But they meant it. They meant every single word. They meant every single thing that I've ever said. There were times when I would be excited and my sister would act like I am acting differently simply because I'm excited maybe about something, and she would make this snarky comments about maybe how I am when I get excited when I'm talking on the phone with a friend, or maybe how I am when I bump into a friend and I talk in a certain way. And sure, perhaps maybe I acted differently, but who the hell are you to tell me how to be? To make me have to numb myself, numb my emotion, to have to lower myself so that I can accommodate you, so that you can be comfortable with who I am, because who I am is uncomfortable for you. My family hates me, and I've only just realized it this year. All this time I didn't know. All the years growing up, even though I knew something wasn't right, and there were times when it affected me, times when I had anger issues and I would take it out on my sister, I now realize it's because I knew even as a child. When you are an adult and you look back in your childhood, do not dismiss the feelings you had. Because even as a child, our God-given intuition knew something wasn't right. You might have dismissed it as a child because you were not mature enough, you haven't developed enough to realize that this was wrong. But as an adult, do not dismiss those things that you look back on as a child and realize that, why did I feel that way? Don't dismiss those feelings. The fact that you were angry about that, upset about that, don't dismiss that. Your family might have done that for the longest time. My family did. Always dismissed my feelings. And the frustrating thing is I can't tell anyone because no one would believe me. Because even my family themselves, they would deny it. They would deny ever hurting me because They can never see how much they have hurt me. They can never see the pain and issues that they've caused me. I went to the pharmacy last week and I got pills for anxiety. Last year, December, and towards the start of this year, I had to take antidepressants because I was depressed, and I've always had anxiety for what seemed to be for no discernible reason. I couldn't understand why I felt so empty. I couldn't understand why I always felt so sad. I couldn't understand why I couldn't just be confident, but it's because of the beatings, emotional beatings that I took from my own family all these years. And now I have so many mental and emotional issues. And I can't tell anyone about it because no one would believe me. Because they would just think I'm exaggerating. Because people will tolerate anything just because somebody's family. Because things shouldn't hurt you just because someone says it's a joke. Just because somebody says, I didn't mean it that way, but it hurt me. Whether my family meant or didn't mean to hurt me, it hurt me. Whether they were joking or they were not, it hurt me. My family used to tease me about my toes. And it was just an ongoing joke around the house about how ugly my toes were. And it might seem minor to somebody else that, yeah, sure, every family, they tease one another. But it wasn't like that for me. It was malicious. I'm not stupid. I get jokes. I understand jokes. I know what a friendly banter is. I know what friendly and just joking amongst each other, people that you love, jokes that don't destroy, that don't hurt. Their jokes were malicious. They had intent to destroy me, and they can never admit that because even them, I don't think they realize that they actually destroyed me. I don't think they fully realize that they actually destroyed my confidence. And by the grace of the Lord, I'm only now trying to build it back up and trying to understand that my confidence, my worth, my self-esteem is not dependent on my family. It's not dependent on my mother and my sister. I'm only now trying to figure that out, and it's hard. It's hard because for decades, my worth was tied to what they told me I am. They teased me about my toes being ugly, so much so that I never want to wear sandals. I'm ashamed of showing my feet off. One time when I was in varsity, somebody said my toes were beautiful and I didn't believe them. I thought they were actually making a joke about my toes, and they were not. They were actually not. That person genuinely thought my toes were beautiful, but because they didn't know that I grew up being told all my life that my toes were ugly and my sister's toes were beautiful. Because everything about my sister was praised and complimented, but never me. Everything about me was wrong. And it hurts. It hurts that they can never see the pain that they've caused me. I walk around the house smiling at them, but my heart is bleeding because of the revelation, the realization that I've had about the fact that I was emotionally abused, tortured. It hurts so much, and I can't understand. I don't understand it. I'm praying about it. I'm asking God, why do they hate me? Why did they hate me? Why do they still hate me? I can't understand it. I can't understand why I had to be made to feel like that. I can't understand why they did all those things. Because in as much as my sister also suffered from the emotional abuse that my mother handed out to us, she also became the monster that she is. So it's not like I also have a sister that I can share these emotions with, and we can share these things together about how our mother was never emotionally there for us because she was a bully. She was mean. She crushed my spirit. My emotions are all over the place at this realization. And I feel like a fool for not seeing it all this time. That I'm 27 years old, and in 2022 is the time that I realize that my family doesn't love me. They think they love me. That's what they would say. That's what they believe. I genuinely believe that they believe that they love me, but they don't. It's like someone who's in a physically abusive relationship. I mean, we hear these stories all the time. The victim always gets sucked in and believes the lies because it's a psychological game. You are psychologically being manipulated to believe that you are loved. So the abuser, in their head, in their psychotic head, they believe that they love you, and they believe that even by hurting you, they're showing you that they love you. So I believe the same thing about my family, that in their minds, they actually think they love me. They would be appalled. They would be shocked. They would not believe the things that I say about them, because how dare I say all these things about them when they love me so much, but they don't. They don't, because every action that I look back on from my childhood says they do not love me. They do not love me. And I'm tired of going off by what people say instead of what they're doing. Show me you love me rather than telling me. I'd rather you show me. Words mean nothing without actions. They mean nothing. Profess your love all you want. Believe it if you want to believe it, but the actions, the things that my family has said and done to me, and I've never been physically abused by my family, never. But emotionally, I've been beaten down. I've been emotionally beaten to a pulp, figuratively. I have so many emotional issues. I can't truly love someone. I can't truly form relationships because I'm so protective of myself, because my family has never showed me true love, and because I've never trusted my family to love me, even though I didn't realize what was happening at the time. Even as I went out to varsity and started working and started meeting new people in a different environment, I couldn't let other people in because I've never known to trust people. Because the first people I knew in this world, I couldn't trust them emotionally. And so now I'm even afraid of the partner that I will have in life, how I will connect with that person. Because I've become so shielded, so guarded, so protective of myself, because my own family couldn't love me. They couldn't. I'm not asking for a perfect family. Yes, every family has their own issues. And this is what emotional abusers and manipulators will say, that I'm not perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, and there's no perfect. Yeah, sure, there's no perfect family, but I don't have to be emotionally abused. I don't have to put up with that just because there's no perfect family. I don't want a perfect family. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I'm not asking for some fantasy perfect family where there's never arguments, there's never fights, but I'm asking that could I have not been emotionally abused for decades? That's not a family that's imperfect. That's a family that is toxic. My sister and my mother were and still are toxic. And unfortunately, I'm still stuck with them. I'm still dependent on my mother. And there's nothing at this current moment that I can do about that. I just hope and pray for the day when I can be independent and pay my mother back for all that she has done, because every single thing that she has done, I look back now and I realize that it wasn't even for me. It was for her to look good, to be good, to do the right thing, but it wasn't really for me. So I cannot wait for the time when I can just pay her back for all that she has done, because that is the very least that she deserves from me paying her back financially, because there's nothing else that my mother gave me except for emotional pain that I didn't even realize. I cannot even believe this. It feels unreal to me that I didn't realize this all this time. It's like walking away from a relationship or a friendship and then seeing all the errors, seeing all the wrong things, seeing all the pain that was there. Except for me, I didn't even really walk away. The Lord just decided to reveal this to me. And like I said in my previous episode, that this has been building up. I look back, especially starting from varsity, because that was like the first time I had moved away from home. And I got some perspective and I got time to think and look back at some of the things that were going on at home. And the Lord has been building it up to me seeing this. And it's painful. It hurts to realize that my family hates me. And I think I might hate them too. Because right now I'm so mad at them, at the pain they've caused me, that now I have to take medication in order to regulate my emotions, because they distorted my emotions, manipulated my emotions, tortured my emotions. And now I need medication for that. I live with high anxiety. Growing up, people thought I was strong. My family would say this: I'm strong, I'm brave. I wasn't those things. I was forced to be those things. I'm not strong because I'm so strong. I'm strong because that was just the only choice I had. I had to be strong because no one was going to be there for me. I had no one to be vulnerable with. So I had to be strong from a very young age. And I functioned with this high level of anxiety, worrying about everything, wanting people to desperately like me, when it wasn't even really about other people. It wasn't about friends. It wasn't about boys. The need came from the fact that I was never even liked by my own family. You know how we go on as adults, and we realize we have certain issues and we think it's because maybe I broke up with a guy or friends, but it just might be because of your family, because of your childhood. For me, it definitely is. Wondered all my life why I couldn't connect with people, why I couldn't let people in. And now I realize it's because I had to protect myself from my own family. I had to shield myself. I guess maybe that's how I survived all these years, naively thinking that my family loves me, because I guess I just shielded myself, knew that I just had to be strong and take the quote unquote jokes, the things that were not meant the way that I thought they were meant, which is actually called gaslighting. It's so frustrating that no one could ever understand this, that even these things that I talk about here, I can never tell them to my family because they would never admit to that. Ever. Only God can make them see this. Trust me, if you're thinking of having this conversation, I've tried a number of times to talk about these things, but because they live in their own world where they think they are good people, and maybe in some areas, which honestly right now I cannot even see, but maybe in some areas they are good people, but when it came to my mother being my mother, she was not good at that. When it came to my sister being my sister, she was not good at that. While I was just there trying my best to be a good sister, to be a good daughter, trying my best, I even look back and I see that I would actually suck up to my mother so that she would like me. I had to be perfect. I had to be the perfect daughter. And now I'm a perfectionist, which I actually really hate because I operate on anxiety. It's not because I'm just this perfect person who wants everything to be in order. No, I'm a perfectionist because I operate on high anxiety. It's not because I want to be a perfectionist. I hate it. I hate being a perfectionist. But I am. Because I tried to do everything right so that my mother would like me. I was sucking up to my own mother. Those words should not come out of anyone's mouth, saying that you suck up to your mother so that they can like you. Really? A daughter, a child, sucking up to their mother, just trying to be loved, trying to be liked. I am so angry. I'm upset, I'm frustrated. And I know I need to go back to counseling, but I also can't afford that. Last year, I was blessed with having this one friend of mine who told me about this lecturer of hers who is also a counselor, and then she talked to her about giving me like counseling sessions, and she was willing to do it for free. But that ended last year, so now I'm just dealing with all these emotions on my own. Well, with some medication, with sleeping pills on top of that. And I don't think I'm suicidal. I'd like to think I'm not. But I do sometimes say to God that He can just take me. Like I'm fine with Him taking me. Because I have no hope for life. I am so mad at my family. I'm so angry at them. I'm so angry because I can't even voice out all the things that are in my heart because they would never understand. They would deny it. They would continue to do what they've done all my life. They would deny my reality. They would deny my experience. They would deny my feelings. They would deny it. It would be absolutely useless to talk to them about these things. I mean, the couple of times I've tried, it was useless. It's not going to be helpful now. It's still going to be useless. It's nice living in this bubble where you think they love me, or that maybe one day you'll do something so impressive that your family will like you and be proud of you. You live in that bubble. I've lived in that bubble for so long. And I guess the Lord said it's high time I actually saw my family for who they are. And I want to forgive them. I want to do the Christian thing, but I'm not there. I'm not going to lie and just be this good Christian and say, I forgive them, because I'm not there. I want to do it. I know it's the right thing to do, to forgive them, to sympathize with them, to move on from this, but I can't. And by moving on, I mean moving on with firm boundaries, because I'm not going to be naive and just go back to being lovey-dovey with them. Should I move on? Should I get to a place where I can forgive them and move on from this? I will move on with firm boundaries, very firm. It will completely look like a different relationship that we will now have as sister and sister, as mother and daughter. It will be a completely different relationship, because I'm not going to be naive anymore, because I'm going to know what I haven't seen and not known for all this time, that I'm not loved. I'm never going to be good enough. Nothing I do, my love, my efforts, they are never going to be good enough for them. But I'm not there yet. I'm not in the forgiving stage. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm frustrated. And because my mother has denied me feeling these emotions, I am allowing myself to feel these emotions. I'm taking them to God. I'm telling him that I'm angry, Lord. I'm still angry. I am telling him that I want to forgive, I want to move on, but I'm angry. And my Father, my God is a far loving Father than my mother ever was and ever could be. And I know he understands my emotions. I know he wants me to do the right thing for my own salvation, for my own soul, for my own life, because at the end of the day, I will have to account for my own actions, not my mother's actions. She will stand in judgment for her own actions. But I know that my Father is loving enough to let me feel the feelings, unlike my mother, who never wanted me to be angry, because I just had to be positive. I just had to pray about it. My Father, my God, my Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ, is not like my mother. He doesn't require me to pretend. He wants me to express those feelings to him, to tell him I'm angry. This is why even so many Christians are frustrated in Christianity, because it's almost made as if we shouldn't feel these things or even take them to God. Take them to God, child of God. Take them to him. Tell him you're angry. Tell him you have hatred in your heart. Tell him the mess that is in your heart. Because that's what I'm doing at this point. That's the only thing I'm able to do, because I'm not going to lie to God, who sees the depths of my heart. I'm not going to lie that I'm just forgiving my family and I'm moving on. I'm going to take the pain to him. I'm going to take the anger to him. And I'm going to allow him to love me the way that I wish my mother had loved me. To think I thought the reason I couldn't connect with people, especially men, I thought it was because I had an absent father, but no. My mother was also a contributor to me not being able to connect with people, because the parent who was present was emotionally not present. Yeah. Isn't that one heck of a headline? Sure, the parent who was physically not there was obviously emotionally not there, but turns out the one who was there physically was just not there emotionally. So what good did that do me? Hey, at least I had a meal on the table, clothes on my back, got to go to school, so there's always that to be grateful for. And that's where it ends. Nothing else. No motherly love, no motherly support, nothing, none of that. Never got any of that, and apparently I'm just never gonna get any of it. Thanks, Mom.